Before you spend another dollar on filmmaking gear, watch this video to ensure you're making the right purchasing decisions. Hello everybody, if you don't know who the heck I am, my name is Zachary Koch, and on this channel I empower budding filmmakers and online video creators to make their best work. Today's topic is how to invest in filmmaking gear. Gear is a vital ingredient to making great videos, and though there are many people who would say gear doesn't matter, they're entirely wrong. In reality, we need gear to make anything in the first place. For example, you require a camera to record video, mics to capture audio, and lights so that you can actually see what it is you're filming. However, what's most important isn't the specific brands you're buying from or how expensive your gear is. What matters is that you have reliable equipment that you can use for a long time and that you know how to use it. Furthermore, what matters most is what percentage you're investing into each equipment category and what order you go about investing in it. So the first gear category you should invest in is a tripod. That's right, not a camera, but something to actually support your camera. This might seem odd to you, but stick with me. Most of you have a perfectly capable smartphone that you can capture serviceable video with. And so your first need isn't actually a video camera. What you need is a place to put the camera you have. This is why, as boring as it might sound, a good tripod is at the top of my recommendations list. I can already hear you saying, but what if I just shot everything handheld? Yeah, no. When you're starting out, you need to rein in how many options you give yourself as far as camera placement and camera movement goes. As tempting as it can be to just grab your camera and just point it at your subject, that amount of freedom can be detrimental to your development as a filmmaker. And I would know. My first few films had awful composition, an aimless shooting style, and they were also boring to watch. I gave myself too many options with too little experience, and I didn't know what to do with that freedom. Using a tripod for every single shot when you're starting out forces you to think carefully about the framing of the shot, because it's difficult to move once you've set it up. Using a tripod will force you to be decisive when it comes to the visual style of your film. You must answer the basic questions of what is the subject of the shot, what information do I need to communicate, and, well, when is the shot over? Additionally, using a tripod adds a feeling of cohesiveness to your film or video and prevents your filmmaking style from feeling all over the place, which is something you're going to battle with a lot when you're starting out. Using a tripod, and a good one at that, also protects your camera by giving you a place for your camera to live on set. Having your camera on a tripod is much safer than setting it on the ground or on a table. Okay, you say, I'll buy a tripod. How about this Amazon Basics one? It's only $20. Well, I would actually recommend something quite a bit more significant. What you're looking for in a video tripod are two things. Number one, we want something with a fluid head. Why? Because this is going to allow us to smoothly pan our camera left and right, as well as smoothly tilt it up and down. Pans and tilts are essential shots in a filmmaker's arsenal, and a cheap tripod that doesn't allow for this kind of motion will prevent you from getting these types of shots altogether. Number two, we want a tripod that offers significant stability for our camera. It doesn't matter whether we're using a smartphone or a mirrorless camera, a lightweight tripod is at risk of blowing over in the wind, or just falling over from the weight of our camera, depending on what we're shooting on. If our tripod offers both a fluid head and good stability, then we're well on the right track to setting ourselves up for success on our next film sets. I've left a few tripod recommendations in the description below, including the one I've been using for over 6 years, and actually the one I'm using to record this very video. Investment 2, lighting. Lighting is one of the most important skills to learn as a filmmaker. At its core, lighting is the art of attention. You light the parts of the scene you want to draw people's attention towards, and you leave the unimportant bits in the shadow. Good lighting will be the thing that makes the most significant difference to your overall video quality, which is why it's our second gear investment category. The impressive thing about lighting is that you can use it to make a cheap camera look expensive, and this is precisely what we need. The reason this is that good lighting increases the perceived dynamic range of the scene. The dynamic range is the number of shades of light and shadow measured in stops that the camera is capable of capturing. A good camera will capture between 12 or 14 stops, and a high-end professional camera will capture around 15 to 16 stops. Having good dynamic range is a massive benefit because it means you can capture more information without clipping your highlights or crushing your shadows. However, even if our camera, whether it be your iPhone or your Hi8 camcorder, if it doesn't have good dynamic range, we can actually remedy this by using a powerful key light. If you were to, for example, expose your camera for the highlights in your scene, and then use your key light to bring up the shadowy bits of your scene, you're making up for this lack of dynamic range. Now, this isn't to imply that you don't need to worry about lighting if you have an expensive camera, just simply because it's capturing more information. Lighting also contributes to the overall look and feel of your shot, but that's a story for another day. So regarding what kind of light to invest in first, I would personally recommend a single-sourced spotlight. These are sometimes referred to as COB lights or cob lights. We're looking for a couple of things here. The first is that it's an LED. Gone are the days of only seeing tungsten or halogen lights on a film set. Now we've progressed into using high-powered and efficient LEDs. Once we've found a light that's LED, make sure that it has a Bowens mount attachment. This is a common mount for attaching modifiers that became popular with photography strobes, but now most constant light fixtures for video have them too. If your light has both of these things, you're well on your way to having a powerful light that you can purchase modifiers for to shape the light in different ways in the future. Now, you can't have a light without a place to put it, which is why I would recommend a good stand. Luckily, you don't have to spend very much on these. An important thing to look for in a stand is that it has a very wide base. Luckily, I've done the research for you and left a few recommendations in the description below. Before we move on to our next gear investment category, I would recommend one other piece of lighting gear, and that piece of lighting gear is a small kicker light. These are often credit card sized lights that are ultra portable, meaning that you're more likely to bring them with you when shooting your videos. The one I have is the Aperture MC, but there are even cheaper ones. Mine has built-in magnets so you can stick them anywhere. On the ceiling, on the wall. I've even lit entire music videos with that one light, which is absolutely wonderful. The output isn't as strong as with a dedicated key light, but if you know how to use it, even with a camera that doesn't have good low light, you'd be surprised what you can accomplish with it. Investment 3, audio. Common filmmaking wisdom says that people will forgive bad video quality, but they will not forgive bad audio quality. This is why it's imperative that if you're going to have people talking in your films or videos, that you invest in good audio equipment. You don't have to spend much when you're starting out. A simple on-camera microphone like the Rode Video Micro will do the trick, especially if you put it on a microphone stand and walk it close to your talent, whether that be you or someone else. If you're doing a narrative film, you can even purchase a cheap boom pole and have someone hold it off screen, and then run a long audio cable directly into your phone or camera. If you're doing voiceovers for your videos, you can also use these on-camera mics. But I would definitely push you towards something else. A dynamic microphone are microphones that are excellent at rejecting unwanted noise, as long as you get close to them, that is. The proximity is such, though, that it can be difficult to use them for video productions without seeing them in the shot. Now that you have proper support for your camera, a decent lighting kit, and some basic audio gear, you're well on your way to making great videos. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, as well as learn how to find crew for your projects, take a look at this podcast episode I did with my good friend Mateo. I hope to see you there.